Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Sorry if that was loud. That was probably loud for our
I liked it.
headphone listeners.
I liked it.
Merry
All
Christmas,
three of
guys. Happy holidays.
Headphone.
Welcome
Happy
back
holidays.
to
Happy
DListCinema.
holidays.
Happy
Episode,
holidays.
is this
Happy holidays.
6?
May the merry bells keep ringing
Happy holidays.
You guys done?
to you.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's episode 6.
That's the only song I know is ho, ho, ho. I can't think of any on the top of my head. But yes, welcome back. Another edition of DListCinema featuring the Christmas carolers, Corey and Mike, and myself, Buck, who's not as much of a Christmas caroler.
Threw a little bit in there.
I tried. So for today's Christmas episode, we did the best Christmas movie of them all. 1990 Martin Scorsese GoodFellas, starring Ray Liotta, the man Robert De Niro who plays Santa Claus in the movie.
You could call him that. You can call him that. Yeah.
I think that was one of my discussion questions. Actually,
In a way.
is Robert De Niro Santa Claus?
In a way.
They're both in your bathroom.
They're Santa Claus. Yeah. So the movie is about Henry Hill, who Ray Liotta portrays, and it's his life.
Distant relative of a dear friend of ours.
Cornelius. Is he really? That'd be crazy.
I'm not Italian.
You understand my sarcasm like that girl I went on a date with last night.
I'm good.
I hope she's not listening.
Oh yeah, she's definitely listening.
But yeah,
She
about the
won
life and
before.
death. No, not the death, but the life of Henry Hill, who has dreams and aspirations of becoming a gangster, and he does, and it's basically a journey in his gangsterhood.
Gangsterhood.
Yeah. There's
Warner
not really
Brother.
much of a plot in the movie. It's kind of just about their lives and how
Just
they
gangster shit.
how they live the glorious life of a gangster and how they ultimately fall in the life of gangsterhood. So, yeah, that's my synopsis. I will say this is probably one of, if not my favorite movie ever. I think it's genuinely a perfect movie. I think just from the characters to the film work from Mr. Scorsese to, I think the soundtrack is probably my favorite soundtrack in any movie. It's perfect. It not only like matches up with the time chronologically in the movie, but it matches up with like the story of the movie as well. The narration's sick, which I feel like can genuinely be hard to do quite a bit.
Especially
But they
a
killed
movie.
it. And yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome, and I could watch it over and over again and love it even more every time.
Okay.
5 out of 5.
I also gave it 5 stars,
I do the same.
and then I put in my
Hell
notes.
yeah.
Opening
Nice.
scene when they shot that body 3 times, opening the trunk, and then or they stabbed him and then they shot him 3 times again. I said, does this set the pace? It absolutely sets the pace for the
Hell
whole
yeah.
movie. They keep that same energy throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like how even like it's like the first 2 minutes of the movie, you're like, what the fuck? This is a crazy start to the movie. Like they just off this dude right away. And then in like the title card, they like flash the names on real quick. It's like kind of
Yeah.
like
how
similar
they
to
did that.
the pace of the movie. It's just like boom, 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 boom. So yeah, it's all like coming at you very fast, and that pace honestly doesn't really slow down at all until the very end.
Even at the end, it's still not slow.
No, I mean no,
That shit was moving.
until the literal end.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like that was pretty crazy.
Wow,
How about you, Mike?
Give it 5 stars. I won't lie. The first time I watched it, I half-ass watched it. I think I was playing Madden or something, and I had it on as a background movie. Mistake on my part. This time, full ass watched it. 95% ass watched it. I wrapped Christmas presents while I was doing it too. But the movie's fucking great. I was locked in the entire time. It flowed really well. The characters are great. Joe Pesci's a fucking dog.
Yeah,
By far my favorite character in the movie. Motherfucker was going crazy the
it's
entire
probably
time.
mine too.
Along with that Rip Spider, he didn't deserve what he got. That shit was out of pocket. He did not need that.
Hey, Spider, give me my drinks, asshole. Gets the step if you want it next.
Why don't you go fuck yourself, Tommy?
Go fuck your mother. You want me to pay this bill right now? And why you still standing there? I said go fuck your mother.
That's probably my favorite character. I'm not gonna lie.
Who, Spider?
No.
Joe Pesci's character.
Nah. Tommy DeVito.
He was
That's
from-
not, is
yeah.
it? Is his name DeVito in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie. That's
Oh
not in
no,
real
Danny
life.
DeVito is the
Danny
celebrity.
DeVito is the real life guy. Yeah. I mean, Tommy DeVito was a
Tommy
real life
DeVito's
guy
the
too.
quarterback for
Well,
the
his
Giants.
name was different in real life.
Tommy DeVito is the quarterback for the Giants.
Oh wow.
That's why it was fucking ringing a bell when I read it.
Wow, that's crazy. Didn't
Tommy Cutlets
Tommy Cutlets.
leading the shitty ass Giants.
Fucking
Also had a life of gangsterhood, apparently.
apparently.
Tommy Cutlets.
that's why the city loved him so much.
That man from the first scene he was in, I think it was the first scene he was in, where they're all sitting at the restaurant. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you think I'm funny? You think I'm fucking funny? What's funny? What's funny?" And he just starts snapping on the guy the entire time.
Story. I just, what's funny about it? What's funny about it?
Funny how?
You're just a funny guy, man.
What's
Funny
about
how?
it? What's
Funny how?
Funny how, Henry?
You sound just like him.
Thank you. I was watching the movie being like, hey, Paulie, you know what I was practicing for the pod. But I thought it was funny when they had Henry doing his little monologue. And he's like, always wanted to be a gangster. And then he was rambling. And then he goes, they double park in front of fire hydrants for no reason. And I'm like, that's one of the reasons why you want to be a gangster? Because you could just double park? Is that why?
Dude, I mean, it's the little things.
They could do what they want.
It's the little things. The kids brought his parents' groceries to his house.
Yeah, that's
Why?
Yeah, that was tough.
Out
That's
of
tough.
respect.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough.
That was tough. Could you imagine if like our fellow workers at Forever's like brought all of our shit to our car and like drove us home? Imagine like who you think it would be?
Who would it be?
Yeah.
It'd be Neil.
Probably be Neil. Do you think?
Neil would be one of the little Italian boys in the corner of the street, freaking aspiring to be a gangster but never can be. So he's just gonna walk the groceries to the car.
Do you think Henry slid them any money every time they ran groceries to his house? Do you
Wait.
think?
That's when he didn't really.
You think he slid the kids' money?
Yeah.
No.
They were his peers.
He was a kid.
Yeah.
Dude, my bad. Sorry, D-listers.
Which he still was getting money, but it's still not at the point where he's like, okay, well, this is sustainable, and I'm just going to hand everybody money because I'm making fuck you money.
I give him like a quarter at least.
Oh, we got to,
And I think
yeah.
I think like he was a kid, dude. Like I don't think he really understood.
He just said a quarter. Like, what?
Yeah, out of disrespect. They respect me. I'm disrespecting you. Take a quarter.
But I don't really think people in this movie and in that time in general weren't getting disrespected for no reason. Like the disrespect came from disrespect,
That's
you
true.
know?
Or people making it more than it should have been, like Tommy DeVito being like, what's fucking funny? Like they're all
Go
he's
shine
telling
my
a funny
shoes,
story
bitch.
and everybody else is laughing. Dude, I did put a note down saying how Henry laughed was so obnoxious and it made me laugh every time because he'd just be on the screen going.
I didn't like his laugh the first time I saw the movie, but I think it fits well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a little obnoxious.
Feels almost fake in a way.
His laugh.
Yeah.
That's probably why it wasn't as good in other movies.
Yeah, I looked at some of the other movies
He was
in.
very good in this movie.
And this movie, yeah. Did you look at the other movies?
I mean, he
Ray
did
Liotta was in?
that. He was in Cocaine Bear.
He was in Cocaine Bear.
R.I.P.
It was 90% of that like IMDb letterbox page stinkers.
You know what's crazy? Cocaine Bear came out after he died.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even
Like it
remember.
came out like a year after he died.
I don't remember who he played in Cocaine Bear.
He was I don't remember either, but he was in it.
Happy holiday.
I keep burping.
Frosty the Snowman.
I don't know the rest of that song. That's all I got. That's all I know from that song.
I don't know either. I forget. It was in the movie.
There are a couple Christmas songs in the movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, bro. We'll talk about that later too.
Just because they got
Fair.
Christmas in it don't mean it's a Christmas movie.
Maybe, maybe not.
Who's to say?
But yeah, to sum up the synopsis and you know how we felt about the movie,
Yeah, I really like
Yes.
it.
absolutely gas.
I'm not a
Yes.
fan of rewatching movies, but this is definitely a movie I would rewatch.
I saw on
Sure.
Letterboxd that it's my most logged movie. I have like 6 reviews on it
That's
Jeez.
or
crazy.
something, and I've watched it like 2 times a year the past 3 years or something like that.
That would be 6.
Sure would.
That is mad.
Well, yeah.
Trying to think of other movies that I've logged a shit ton. I think weirdly, If it's not number one, it's really close. That new Ninja Turtles movie.
Really?
When I was in theaters, I went and saw that movie like maybe 6 times in the span of 2 weeks.
You were obsessed with it.
I
remember that.
It was crazy. It did my Letterboxd review every time. I just re-review it. I go, still gas, still bangs.
I saw your review of GoodFellas. You're like still not very good.
Yeah, I think my first review on it was they were not good fellas. This time, still not very good fellas.
When I read that, I thought you were saying the movie wasn't good. I'm like, oh, no, you're just talking about the fellas.
I remembered his review from a few years ago, and so I remember like it made a little more sense to me. I think.
There is one thing before we move into anything else I wanted to mention real quick.
Let's hear it.
I'm gonna put it up on the screen too. I wrote down in the movie because I thought he looked so fucking stupid. 1 hour, 2 minutes in, 50 seconds ish. Eyebrow guy. There was a scene where they were just panning over a bunch of people, and there was a dude in that crowd of people with the bushiest fucking eyebrows.
What was going on?
Dude, I don't even.
Why didn't you write it down?
I just wrote the fucking time.
What?
I don't remember, but it was the goofiest. I'll throw it up on the screen, but it was the goofiest looking man.
Was like around. It was like I don't really remember.
I'm gonna find it real quick, but it was a goofy looking dude.
Was it during the wedding?
I think it was during the wedding, actually. Yeah, I think it was the wedding scene, and they were panning through the crowd of people, and there was a dude with bushy ass eyebrows, and I thought he just looked really stupid, so I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I put
sounds like about the hour mark.
During the wedding scene, and Karen started to worry about the bag of money with all the cards in it. And Henry tells her not to worry because nobody's going to take it, which kind of shows the level of untouchableness that they felt during this time period because they were the shit back then. Even though it is a wedding and he's surrounded by all his friends and everything, I still thought it like showed a level of like respect that everybody shows each other, even though there's a lot of money right there, but nobody is going to take it.
Oh yeah, definitely a level of respect, and it's
confidence in your
family. It's a very family oriented business is the mob, and even though they do terrible things, like even when Jimmy finds out later in the movie that Tommy got whacked, like he's so sad and beat up, not because like just some guy got whacked, because he actually cared about him as a a close friend or even brother. So like I think like that theme of family is kind of like sprinkled in throughout the whole movie, and that's why like in that scene that they didn't feel like anything was bad was going to happen to the money, because like they trusted everyone and they were family in a way.
Tommy did get fucking whacked.
I like that they refer to it as whacked.
I love that word.
He's finally a made man, and
they baited the hell out of that guy.
I like how he noticed. He walked into the room. He's like,
"Oh fuck!"
He's like, "Oh no!
Oh no!" His voice was killing me. You can't be a gangster with that voice, man.
I liked his voice.
I fucking love that guy.
His character
He's in Home Alone.
His character was insane.
He's in Home Alone.
Another great Christmas movie. Joe Pesci's the king of Christmas movies.
I can't wait to watch that on repeat 6 times.
I need to watch some Christmas movies this week.
A scene that I really liked was when Henry was still learning the ways from Paulie. Hey Paulie. And the guy got fucking shot, and he runs to his little area, and he goes, and he grabs a bunch of aprons to heal him up and make sure he's fine. And he goes, "You're a real jerk, you know that? You wasted 8 fucking aprons on that guy. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. You gotta toughen this kid up." Because he wasted aprons on some guy. He's mad at that wasting money, even though they got money.
That quote was hilarious.
That was pretty good.
There were just
called him a jerk for his aprons.
There were so many times where like the guys reacted that way to people getting shot or killed. Like there was when Tommy smacked what's his name, Spider. De Niro's character was like, "You fucking asshole, why would you do that?" And he was like, I got a good shot. What can I tell you?
Shot, I guess. I like Henry's reaction too when he sees that he's dead. He just walks over and goes, "He's fucking dead."
I put before that, when he shot the kid in the foot, I forgot who said it, but the one guy goes, "Nice fucking game," because it's always that one guy that's so intent on the game, and whenever everybody else starts getting off track, he's like, "Nice fucking game, man." He's either up big or losing big, and he's trying to get back because.
Did not care. It didn't even matter what happened.
He didn't care that the motherfucker just got shot. He's like, "I'm just trying to play poker over here." And
He's like, run the cots.
You over here, she was fighting the fucking foot. I'm over here trying to play some poker, man.
He's like, Henry, it's your fucking turn.
What are we doing? It's like that one, your one friend that when he swindled us.
Henry, call a check.
You got check or fold, Henry. We're trying to play you.
Dude, and there's like another time too. I think it was when they beat the shit out of Bats and killed him, and they were in Henry's bar, and Jimmy was like, look what this fucking bastard did. Got my shoes all dirty. Or said some shit like that. Like they actually just, after he just purposely like kicked him to death and got in the blood, like he's like, this is this fucking bastard. Got my shoes all dirty.
It was either that scene or a scene very similar to that where they beat the fuck out of some dude. He got blood all over the floor. He goes, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get blood all over your floor. Fuck, man.
It was the same scene.
He's not a good Italian.
That was close. That was close.
It was the same scene. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I didn't mean to get blood on your floor, man. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was worse than mine.
That's because I go in and out of the fucking Tommy's voice, and then I try to do the normal voice.
Yeah, that scene was great because that was like right when Henry was kind of at the point of like no return, and he was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm really in this, and I don't want to be in this."
Because he really wasn't about killing people like that.
Yeah,
and then he had to get involved and bury the body. He had to finish off the body. They're using his car to bury all of it. It fucking stink like poop in there.
That scene where they're burying him too.
Yeah.
That scene where they're burying him too, and then they keep cutting over to fucking Henry, and he's gagging and everything. They're like, "Oh, what, you gonna eat a heart and liver too?" He goes,
he's over there.
He's like, "Here, Henry. Here's a wing. Here's a leg."
I had 2 scenes I wanted to talk about myself. One, when Henry and what the fuck was her name?
Karen,
when they were first fighting. And they were doing that scene where she's like, fucking wake up, Henry, and she was like sitting on top of him with the gun pointing in his face. I just thought that was really cool. It looked really cool. I liked the whole scene, and then she kind of got her fucking shit kicked in after that. But
deserved.
That's beside the point.
What'd you get?
Fucking
There's a lot of those moments.
There's a lot of those. We get into that in a little bit.
I didn't write anything down.
Oh, word. My other one is a long one. Towards the end, that entire gun run scene where
May 11th, 1980.
Yeah, where he's driving around everywhere. He's picking up his brother. The helicopter's following him. He's snorting coke left and fucking right. He's trying to make dinner. He's trying to do all this shit. He's got his voiceover going, and I don't know. That whole scene was just fucking kind of nuts.
It's a crazy sequence. And side note, I showed Yanni GoodFellas like 2 or 3 months ago. Gave it 3.5 stars, and he didn't like it because of that. Because of like, the way it ended.
That was my favorite part of the entire movie.
That's what I told him too.
It's based off of a true story, so like
it's just the fall off of his character is just so severe, and the way it's shown in those like 30 minutes is just
it's what drugs will
perfect.
Do to you,
like
kids.
He's taking the coke, everything gets distorted, the camera's moving faster, like the cuts are faster. The music, like this is why I love the music so much because like at the beginning, the music is it's like soft, like slow, lovey-dovey songs, and then it just turns into like during that scene, it's just a bunch of like crazy like Rolling Stones, like rock music, and the music is so perfect. And
it's gonna sound kind of ridiculous. I think part of the reason I like that scene so much, not the scene itself, but the way he was talking in the voiceover reminded me somewhat of myself, just the way I talk about things and the way I tell stories. Because like he was just running through shit left and right, and like it was just a fucking mess the entire way through.
Yeah,
and it just kept me locked in the entire time. I was like, that's kind of how I talk about shit, and I don't know, I liked it.
Disagree.
No.
It was a mess. It was a very good mess.
Which it was a mess on purpose to show
for
that
sure
chaotic nature of him not being able to control the situation.
Because he was,
and as it spirals out of control, he knows he's about to get caught. And he can't do anything about it because he's high on fucking drugs, and nobody's believing him because he's high on drugs.
Until the very end of it, the second he's backing out his car, and then he hears the sirens go off, he sees the lights flash, and there's a gun pointing in his face. He goes,
"Thank God it was a cop."
Yeah, he's like, I knew it wasn't a gangster, because if it was a gangster, I would have been dead.
That's crazy. Because he was worried about the cops getting him, and
Paulie.
Oh no. Kind of related, kind of unrelated. A little bit after that, do you think Jimmy was trying to whack Karen?
For sure.
Well, yeah.
That's what that was gonna be.
I feel like he should have just fucking done it.
He didn't want to get his hands dirty.
There is a small part of me that does think that like maybe he wasn't, because early in the movie, like whenever he wanted someone whacked, he kind of just happened, like no problem. So like if he really wanted them whacked, then
That's
probably
what
got
like
whacked. But in the same breath, like the same thing goes. I think he did want to kill him, but I do think also maybe, he did. He was so caring of them, like they were friends for a long time. Maybe that gave him some slight reserves, but at the end of the day, I think he was trying to get her whacked in that scene.
I think if he was truly trying to whack her, he would have just done it in that first little alley they were in.
I don't know. He's
Just
trying to
take her to her side and just fucking.
He always has a plan for it, so that's always clean. So he's trying to get her in that room where there's nobody to witness. They probably had an escape plan ready for that specific area, so he doesn't get caught. Especially since towards the end, they had a fucking spotlight on him too. So he has to be extra careful, extra planned, to make sure they don't get caught. That's what it was all about. That's why he was killing everybody, essentially for no reason. Obviously, there's a reason. He doesn't want to get caught, but it's for the reason of he also wants all the money to himself, and he doesn't want the potential that they snitch on him if they do get caught, especially because they were not being smart with the money at all.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. If I fucking rob whatever, and the main rule is not to flash the money because that's how you get caught, and the idiots that I robbed the shit with starts buying stupid shit like what they were doing, I'd probably whack them too.
So you'd crash out? Would you
I
crash
would
out?
crash out too. Crash out.
I would have crashed out too. It's actually so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? You just
$60,000 fur coat or whatever it was.
They
40,000.
said like
I saw
20.
some shit that said
Anyway, either way, it's ridiculous.
if you include inflation today or whatever, that heist was worth like 24.2 mil. Or
Yeah,
some
it was
shit.
the highest in American history at that time.
I think it still is.
I doubt it.
Or I don't know. I think it's
doubt it.
close, but
Was there any character in the movie that you guys were just waiting to die?
wow, that's a good question. I mean, Murray was annoying the whole time they got him whacked.
So which one was Murray again?
He was the hair, the
hair
wig
hair
salesman.
Oh, Maury.
Yeah, sorry.
I hated that guy.
The guy that kept bugging
For the
Jimmy
money.
about the money.
The brother that played the heist.
I think it's
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, yeah, because
Yes.
that was my character.
He had
Yeah,
a toupee on the whole time.
He was dumb annoying.
yeah.
And then the whole sequence of him getting whacked and like the famous shot of Jimmy smoking the cigarette. It's a great shot, great scene. And maybe one of the most iconic scenes in movies led up to the most annoying character ever getting whacked. So it's pretty cool. But other than him, I don't know. I can't think of anybody.
Do you think they cared a little bit more about Henry than, other people?
Yeah.
Who's
Because
they?
even like Paulie and
Oh yeah,
was it
because
Jimmy
he
was the
Yeah, because
he didn't involve him in that last one, even though he was involving Henry in it heavy, and then he's like, forget about it, and then they still killed him anyways. But he just didn't want Henry involved, I think.
I think it's because Henry was around since he was a little jit, so they were like extra protective over him a little.
and I think he like, unlike Jimmy and Tommy, I think Henry was a little more respectful and a little like in a weird way like kinder and a better of a person than
Definitely.
those guys.
Because he was only half Italian.
He didn't like. I mean, he definitely like sold the drugs when Paulie told him not to. But for the most part, I think he kind of followed by the rules, opposed to like being like freaking Tommy and just doing whatever the fuck he wanted all the time.
cheated on his wife a lot.
I don't know if that's in the gangster rule book to not do that. I think they all do that.
Might be in the Catholic rule book a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, I think so.
Sprinkled in
He
there
was
from here and
wearing
there.
he was wearing the Jewish star at the end.
He was wearing both, actually.
That shit went hard. Not gonna lie.
Kind of did.
So this isn't one of my favorite scenes, but it's a scene that I just particularly liked. And it was when Karen was yelling at Henry because he stood her up, and she's just sitting there yelling at him in front of everybody. And I said, "That's how Kane be yelling at me in front of everybody." So I'm just like, this made me laugh.
I'm Henry for real.
I said, "I'm Henry Hill for real." Type shit.
That really is grandpops for real.
You know the pain. Having Shorty just yell at you in front of everybody.
Shit's in the blood. No, that's a 16. I loved
Crazy
the way Karen was introduced in the movie. Like you get the narration of Henry for like 15 minutes, and all of a sudden Karen just starts narrating. You're like, what the fuck? Like, why is she narrating too? And then like, it just immediately pans to her perspective, and then it goes into that scene. I thought that was really sick. And I mean, I think having one narrator in a movie can be pretty tough. And can be hard to pull off, and they had fucking 2, and it was sick.
They banged it.
And they banged it. No
And then
Diddy.
they banged and had 2 kids.
No Diddy.
They
Which
did.
in real life they had 3.
Really?
I might be wrong.
I didn't know
I
that.
think it was only 2.
Oh, one was a boy and a girl, but in the movie it was 2 girls.
I
Oh, it's
watched
2 girls, yeah.
After I watched the movie, I watched an interview of the 2 kids like a couple years ago. I kind of hate them.
Like the real kids?
Yeah.
Oh, the actors were actually Lorraine Bracco's daughters.
Like the 2 kids were talking about how they're old as fuck now, but they're talking about how witness protection kind of ruined their lives.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah, I bet.
They make them move away from New York.
I get their point, but the son was kind of a bitch the entire video. He's like, I just wanted my dad to get a real job at one point. All I wanted for him to do is shut up, dude.
Yeah, right. I bet if he was
Shut
15
up.
and his dad was still a prominent gangster, he would have been perfectly happy.
Giving them a
with
shit
that.
ton of money. It's like, hey, yo, Henry.
So everyone sounds like that now?
It was the 1950s, man. That's how they all sounded, apparently. Allegedly.
They just hit their puberty later on in life in the 50s. They didn't hit it till like 60.
Who's to say?
That's when their nuts dropped.
Hey, yo, Paulie.
Yeah, I'll talk about a couple of my favorite scenes though. My favorite scene is definitely when they go to Tommy's mom's house after they thought they whacked Billy Bats. I think it's so funny, and it's also it's right when it's right after Henry kind of has that realization, like, dang, I'm not fit for this life, for real. I don't want to live in this life. And like you can just see Jimmy and Tommy, they're so comfortable, and like Henry's just sitting there dumb quiet, and he's like not talking, and then they ask him like, why aren't you talking? And I don't know. But I thought the whole scene was funny. I thought I love the painting.
Yeah.
I have the painting in my room.
Painting's good.
I love this painting. The one dog is looking the one way, the other dog's looking another way. And this guy's like, what do you want from me?
One thing I wrote down, do you know who played Tommy's mom?
Mrs. Scorsese.
Mrs. Scorsese.
It's Martin Scorsese's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was sick too.
Do you know who his dad played?
Yeah.
He was the dude in the prison that put too many onions on the food.
Yeah. And he
Prominent
was in
role
it
there.
twice. He had
Was he?
another role. He was one of the 2 guys that walk Tommy into the house when they kill him.
Oh, really?
Not the guy that shot him, the other guy. Yeah. But yeah, also with that scene, I think I saw that Martin Scorsese told his mom like nothing that was going on in the movie. Like she actually didn't know that, they had a body in the car and that they just killed someone. Like he told her like, imagine that I'm coming home and you haven't seen me in a while and you're happy to see me. And that's all she knew. And so all of that acting she did was just like off dome for real.
I mean, it definitely made it easier to act because if she knew like the actual plot, then it probably would have made it a little bit less real.
The second
Yeah.
she learns that, she's like looking all worried and concerned the entire scene, and there's a whole bunch of other shit going on.
Yeah. It was sick.
Which that's part of what Mike was saying was before we were rolling that if he were to be an actor, he'd just be himself, which you can't really do as an actor. But
And sometimes
for that,
I feel like sometimes you
roll.
can.
But
Depends, yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
He's good at being himself.
But for that would be really easy to do. Just be yourself, and not know the actual plot. Be a lot easier.
Yeah. My second favorite scene was the Copacabana scene where they do that super long take
Copacabana.
where they literally record them walking into the bar or the club or whatever. The camera's rolling for like 4 minutes with no edits, no cuts, no anything.
They went crazy.
Crazy.
They went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that shot was just ridiculous. I can't believe they could actually pull that off. Like, there's so many moving parts going on. There's so many people. one little stutter in reading a line. You got to do the whole thing over again.
How many takes you think it?
It was 8.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that shit was just like, from a filmmaking perspective, was really sick and really impressive.
Real film heads know.
Real film heads know. And then at the end of all that, you just see them, like, it's at the point, too, where they're both like getting consumed and like addicted to the life of, being in the mob or whatever. And Karen, what does she say? She's like, what do you do for work? And he's like, I'm in construction. And what does she say?
I really
She's
think
like,
he did construction.
she touches his hands and she's like, they don't feel like you're in construction. And he's like, I'm a union delegate. Yeah, those are my two favorite scenes. I mean, I definitely got some more scenes we can talk about. I think we talked about most of them. Also, I mean, like the very beginning is awesome.
Very beginning is really cool.
The very beginning is awesome.
There was one, I don't remember who the fuck he was talking to, but I wrote it down as a quote. There was one, Henry was talking to someone and he was fucking stuttering a lot. And he just looked at him dead in the eyes and goes, you're a mumbling, bumbling little fucking prick.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember where it was in the movie, but I was dying when I heard it.
How do I not remember that? That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I do love the end too when they're in the courtroom and he breaks the fourth wall and starts talking to us. I thought that shit was sick, dude. Like the whole movie we're listening to him talk about his life, and then right at the point where he is not in this like fairy tale world of his anymore, and he's literally like one of us, just like another fucking person at that point. And that's when he starts talking to us. And then I love when Tommy shoots at the end, he fucking puts the gun into the screen and shoots us. Ooh. He's kind of like...
I didn't get shot.
Yeah, he did. The life was over for us. What were you going to say?
I forgot Brad's name. I tend to do that. But
forgot Brad's name.
Closer to the end of the movie, when he walked in, Tommy and some other dude, the dude with the hair, they walked into that guy's house, and he was like just now getting up. He wasn't awake yet or anything. He still had his underwear on. He's like, I fucking knew you weren't ready. His
name was Stacks.
Yeah, Stacks. Then he's
Samuel
like, yeah,
Jackson.
you're late to everything, man. You're late to everything. You walk behind him, he goes, late to your own funeral too, and he just pops him in the fucking head.
Yeah. That was crazy. I always forget that Samuel L. Jackson's in GoodFellas. Like every time he pops up, I'm like, oh shit, there's Samuel L. Jackson. I forget every time.
Hey, make that coffee to go. I didn't mean actually, you fucking idiot.
I hate that you're making fun of his character so much. He was the best fucking character.
He really was the best
5
character.
feet tall. It's my favorite character.
Fucking goat. He deserves what he got, though.
It's just crazy that he has this stupid voice and he's so short, but he's legit the most intimidating character in the whole
He's the biggest
movie.
crash out.
Yeah.
Like that dude, you say one wrong word to him and you're fucking dead.
Spider.
He absolutely deserved what he got.
Spider?
No, not Spider.
Damn.
Tommy. Spider didn't deserve shit.
Nah, he did. He for sure did.
Tommy deserved every last bit of that.
Did you guys think it was coming? Like,
yes. You can't be that big of a crash out.
But like when you found out he was getting made, like I mean, obviously you didn't know that's how it was gonna happen, but like, did you think he was actually getting made for real?
No.
Because the first time I watched it, I did. I was like, damn, he's getting made. I didn't even think of the possibility of him getting whacked.
I thought so. The very first time I watched the movie, I actually thought because of how excited Jimmy was for him getting made, I thought Jimmy had something to do with like
him getting whacked.
Yeah. So like the first time I watched it, I was watching Jimmy get excited, and then I was seeing him talk about how he's getting made. I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna die, and Jimmy's the one who set it up. But it's just not what happened at all.
Those other people that he whacked the main man.
Whacked the main man.
But would you crash out too? You was sitting there making fun of him after being away for a while, saying that he cleaned shoes. Is that
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would have got pissed.
Especially
I don't know if I would have crashed out like he did.
I like
Yeah,
that,
you
but
got to. He disrespected him. He had a date. He brought a
I'm
date.
saying I wouldn't have killed him.
If you brought a date and you're a gangster, guys, if you're a gangster, if you brought a date and this guy's sitting there making fun of you, busting your balls, he's sitting there busting your balls in front of the date, and you tell him to stop because you're a changed man.
Do that show one more time.
You busting your balls. He's in there busting your balls, saying you shine shoes.
But yeah, no, I mean, I would have crashed out probably because
smack the fuck out of that.
You might not have crashed out if you didn't have a lady there, but if you brought a date and somebody's rubbing it in like that, you would 100% crash out.
Yeah, I mean, if someone would have called me Spit Shine Tommy, I would have crashed out for real, whatever the hell the name was.
Spit Shine Tommy.
It was something that wasn't respectful.
Booty rubber buck.
I was gonna say big spittle buck.
I thought you guys were gonna say bald fuck buck.
Shiny bald spot buck.
That one rhymes too.
I was trying to think of something for Mike, and it just wouldn't have added up. So I just,
Mike the Dyke.
I was gonna say Lil Wiener Mike.
I don't know why. If you flip the W upside down.
It's W for Wumbo.
Oh, Wumbo.
Watch SpongeBob, bro.
What
Any other scenes? I mean, let's see. Nice. That was a good one.
you think that's gonna get picked up?
I hope it does get picked up.
I think it does too.
I hope it does.
Merry Christmas, D-listers.
It fucking reeks too, man. Holy shit.
Anybody smell apple pie?
Good thing I'm
Holy
sick.
shit.
I can't smell nothing.
Yeah, hopefully you can taste it.
I'm trying to think about the scenes. The only scene that keeps running through my head is that entire fucking gun run thing.
It's so good.
And just every little part of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good scenes, bro.
Especially
Like
for
the
some.
scene where, sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
The scene where Karen calls Henry when the fucking weird fuck like
I was just about to talk.
touches her or whatever, and then
You
he goes
beats
and
the
beats the
fuck.
shit out of her. Like that scene's awesome.
Yeah, I put when Bruce first got introduced, which that's the name of that fucking
Yeah,
that asshole. I thought instantly he was gonna get wet up, and then he definitely deserved what he got.
So
And then his
did.
fucking friends, hey man, or whatever they said.
I saw something that happened during filming. Apparently, when they were doing that scene where he's beating the fuck out of him in the street, he actually accidentally hit him at one point. They're saying Ray Liotta was really good at like maintaining an actual anger. Like it wasn't an acted anger, it was an actual anger throughout the scene. They said he was thinking about like his mom was like losing a fight to cancer or something like that. So he just kept thinking about that. And there was one point where they're acting that scene where he's beating the fuck out of him. And then one of those points, he actually like smacked him straight across the face when he was doing it.
damn.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was the take they used.
I kind of hope it is. I
Hope
feel
it
like
is,
at
too.
that point it's got to be the take that you use.
Yeah,
Not if he goes, ow, dude, you actually fucking hit me that time.
What the fuck, man? Well, pause, guys.
You definitely
pause.
don't use the take if he did that.
Time out, guys. He fucking hit me in the face this time. I better get a higher pay grade. What the flip?
this is how it's gonna be every time we choose a movie pre-2000s.
Hey, Paul, you know what I fucking told him? Stop being a fucking bitch. Take the punch. We got a fucking movie to film here.
What else we got?
I don't know. I mean, we can move on to some other stuff.
We're gonna jump into Oscars real quick.
Oscars.
That's a little early
we
for
could.
Oscars.
A little bit, but might as well squeeze it in.
We can do
Squeeze
it real
it
quick,
in.
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess we
squeeze
could fit it
in.
into this little time slot right here. I guess we could. squeeze it
So they didn't win Best Picture.
Ridiculous.
They were nominated for Best Picture. They lost to I've never even fucking heard
Dances
of it.
with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
Pretty like popular movie, kind of like for like super film heads.
Fair.
in. Real film heads know.
And actually, the only other thing I wrote down for Oscars, they got nominated for a couple things, didn't win much, but what they did win
One
was
Oscar win,
Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and it was Joe Pesci.
deserved.
Absolutely deserved.
You hear about his speech?
No,
He has like the
won the
sixth
Oscar.
shortest acceptance speech in the history of the Oscars.
really.
He went up there like, "It's an honor, thank you," and like, and you say nothing.
I just want to thank
Legend.
Paulie for this opportunity.
It would have been Marty actually.
It would have been Marty.
Marty gave him the opportunity.
Would have been Marty.
But yeah, definitely got snubbed for a bunch of Oscars. I mean, I don't really know the movies that were out there, but
Look real quick.
I think
I remember seeing the directors and thinking it was stacked.
fucking
Let's get into the favorite nicknames. I got mine.
I mean, Marty not winning Best Director is pretty crazy. Ray Liotta not getting nominated for an Oscar at all is pretty crazy.
That is pretty nuts.
And De Niro not getting nominated. I know Pesci, like he
De
would
Niro
have
was
got
really good.
he would have got nominated for the same Oscar as Pesci because they were both actors in supporting role. But he honestly could have won it over Pesci. To be honest, he was crazy good.
I think so too. He was Jimmy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they both were the
was
best.
really
They were
good.
probably the. I mean, I don't know. That was one of my questions. Was like who won? Like who was the best actor in the
I think
movie?
De Niro, in my opinion.
You think?
Pesci.
I would go with De Niro.
I think it was Pesci. Every time he was on the screen, it was he fucking took over.
He did get a lot of screen time too, and he killed it every time. But I would still give it to De Niro,
I even think
especially selling it towards the end because you like, even though Henry knew that he was trying to get him whacked, he still kind of sold it a little bit, at least to the audience. Or from my perspective, I'm like, okay, like it just makes you believe the guy. So I think he did a really good job playing his role.
Yeah, I even think that Ray Liotta and Lorraine Bracco could be put in this discussion too. I don't think I would choose either of them, but they were both really fucking good at their parts as well. But my answer I'd probably go with De Niro as well. But like I think it's pretty much a toss up between him and Pesci. to be honest. I mean, I just think the casting was perfect. I think every single character in the movie was like
Yeah, they did a good job.
very well casted, and they did really good at their parts. I mean, even like Paulie was super good at like, you know, being a mob boss, and like
I saw he almost turned down his role.
I saw that too.
He said he didn't think he'd be aggressive enough for it. It's kind of nuts.
I don't think he was really aggressive, but you could just feel
He
he
had an aura to him.
Aura.
Yeah.
Nah, it's well said.
What can I say?
I would have chosen the
aura.
word essence.
The essence of man.
His presence was illuminating,
It took over.
The aura for
very
real.
intimidating.
Aura.
You never like to be talked to.
But yeah, there were
one-on-one.
definitely a few snubs in the Oscars, I thought. But who cares?
Who cares?
Who's
People
to
aren't
say?
talking about Dances with Wolves.
Oh God.
We are
today.
right now, actually.
Or the one person in the last
I
10
want
years.
There are two people.
Maybe we'll 5 years from now, but I doubt we'll ever do an episode.
That's how
on
he
Dances
laughed.
with
That's how
Wolves.
Henry Hill laughed. That shit pissed me off,
I
dude.
can't do it, bro. I wish I wasn't sick. I would give my crack at it.
You wouldn't even be able to do it not sick.
Yeah, true. What are you talking about, though, man? I'm the only person here with acting experience, actually.
Actually.
So
I've acted in a few movies myself, actually.
Please respect my
I've acted
aura.
in a few movies myself, actually.
Yeah, I've heard about those movies. Would you like to elaborate?
No. Moving on.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Moving on.
I think we talked about some quotes, but I have a bunch of quotes that I feel like I didn't talk about.
Hit me with it.
I mean, the very first line of the movie is iconic. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Such a sick opening to the movie.
It was.
I mean, we actually didn't even talk about this when Henry got pinched his first time, and like he leaves the courtroom, and he's like,
They're
oh,
hugging.
you're not upset. I'm happy for you. You took your first pinch like a man.
Popped your first cherry.
And you
They're all
learned
sitting there cheering.
and you learn the two biggest lessons in life, which is another one of my favorite quotes is never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut, which is crazy foreshadowing because he ended up doing both
Hey, he did.
pretty severely too.
Went
Gotta
crazy.
save your own neck.
And he literally ratted and kept opening his mouth about the very person that told him that too, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, then they open the door and they're all there they're like, Henry, you popped a cherry.
They all say their own one-liner for it.
It's just so funny how happy they are and they're excited because like bro just got arrested.
I thought it was funny that Tommy knew what was happening while Henry's just in there. What do you mean I can't sell the cigarettes? They're like, where'd you get? They're like asking him a bunch of questions. Like, I'm just selling cigarettes.
and then you see little Tommy run off and he's got his little like
Fat boy run.
he's got the worst running motion ever, bro.
That boy ain't never run in his life.
You should run a clip of him. Like,
I'm gonna speed up too.
yeah, I love that scene. See, like the more you
What's
talk about the
funny
movie,
about
you
it?
could just find so many scenes of this movie that are good. Like every scene.
I think my favorite scene had to be him pressing him over what was funny.
Funny how most of that shit was improvised.
Really?
I think. Actually, sorry, I don't know if it was improvised, but that was a story that happened to Joe Pesci in real life. Like he was when he was a kid, he was like at a dinner and he was watching some mob boss or mob person like having the same type of, or I think he had a conversation with a mob boss and the mob boss was like
What's fucking funny?
saying that shit to him. I forget exactly how it went, but it is based off something that happened in Joe Pesci's life, which I thought was pretty interesting. And he showed Scorsese it, and Scorsese was like, "Yeah, I like that. Let's do it." And only Pesci and Ray Liotta knew about it, I guess, and then the people in the background like didn't know that was about to happen. So all their reactions were like real.
That fucking one guy who was just standing there staring at him, and fucking Pesci turned around and goes, "Fuck you looking at, man?"
And then he hurls a chair at him.
You got any more quotes for us?
I got a few. Let's
Mr.
see.
Fidget over here.
Pillow was like up my butthole.
I mean,
gotta
I'll
position
get to
your butt
that
plug
quote in a sec.
Real butthead
In the
plug.
scene where they're at Tommy's mom's house, and
Lovely lady.
he asked his mom, he's like, "Can I borrow this knife?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure. For what?" And he was like, "I ran into a deer, and I gotta cut off his thing on his foot." He's like, "What's it called? What's it called?" And then Jimmy's like, "The wolf."
Like a paw? Oh, it's not a paw.
He's like, the hoof.
A hoof. Like, oh, hoof, yeah, we gotta cut off the hoof. We gotta cut off the hoof, mate.
And then in the same scene, when they're talking about the painting, they're like, that guy kind of looks familiar. And they're saying he looks like the fucking dead guy in the car. And
You got the dog looking this way, and you got the dog looking that. It was a pretty funny scene. I just liked the movie. It had a good balance of seriousness, comedy.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
it wasn't like intentionally comedy scenes, but it was still funny scenes in general.
yeah, I mean, I think it is genuinely a perfectly written script.
Yeah.
They definitely had all the emotions.
Yeah. We're gonna have to refill, bro. But yeah, I mean those quotes are great. I think the one I actually never really caught this quote until I just watched it a few days ago again. But when Karen, her mom, and her dad are waiting for Henry to come home right after they get married, and they're arguing, and then Karen gets up, she's like, "Dad," and she's like, "Don't." She says, the mom says, "Would you leave him out of this? He suffered enough. That man hasn't been able to digest a decent meal in 6 weeks." I'm like, damn, why that motherfucker caught it straight like that, bro? He didn't even say a word the whole episode, and they just like talking crazy about my dog, bro. It's crazy, bro. Just catching strays out of nowhere.
Dirty work.
But yeah. Well, so for my next quote, it has to do with one of my discussion questions, which is, what was y'all's favorite gangster name in the movie? And one of my quotes is from one of the gangsters.
Which one?
Jimmy 2 times. They said he's Jimmy 2 times because he says, he repeats everything he says. He goes, "I'm gonna go get the papers, get the papers."
Annoyingly, that was also my favorite nickname.
What was it?
Jimmy 2 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I have that quote
the
as one of
papers,
my Instagram captions.
Oh, really?
Oh, I
Get
do.
the papers,
I
get the
remember that. I was
papers.
so confused
And
by that
nobody,
caption.
bro, and I literally made it just because I liked the quote, and nobody understood it. And one person commented, and they were like, heat emoji, Jimmy 2 times. And I was like, I love you, bro. This is why I made. This is why I made the
For
freaking
that one funny
for that
guy.
one guy. That's literally why I made the caption for that one funny guy.
And for you folks at home, let us know your favorite gangster nickname in the movie.
I like to hear what some of you guys think.
Mine was Paulie.
Paulie.
I think it's just so
Hey, Paulie.
iconic.
Paulie is great. I mean,
So iconic.
in the wedding, they say it, like Karen was talking in the narration. She was like, "Paulie introduced me to all of the sons, and they're all named Pete or Paulie." I think it was Pete or Paul, right?
Yeah, it was Pete or Paul, and then every time they get into a person, be
Girl.
like, "It's just Paul, it's Paulie, it's Pete."
And
Peter,
then they were always
Paulie.
married to a girl's named Marie.
Yeah.
It's Marie.
Yeah. A few others that I liked. I thought Billy Bats was a sick name.
Billy Bats is a good one.
Pretty good one.
Billy Bats was good. There
Spider was a cool nickname, but his
Yeah,
face
the
got
Spider
blown
was
up.
great.
in
but
that one montage when
wax.
they're going through and naming off all the people, they go, "And this is Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy." Like, first of all, who is Mo Black? They didn't tell us who Mo Black was the entire movie. They're just like, "This is Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy." And then another one, like 2 people later, they were like, "And he's Pete the Killer." And he just walks up like,
So,
just like pissed.
What was that dude with the ridiculous fucking hair? What was his nickname?
The guy with the crazy like Johnny Bravo hair.
Yeah, the guy who died in the meat freezer.
Right. They said his name at the start, but I don't think he had a nickname. They might have, but when they introduced him,
what was his name?
I don't remember.
I feel like they could have come up with
His hair
something
was
fucking
ridiculous.
ridiculous for that
He
man.
was like Antonio Margaretti.
Definitely not.
You know what that's from?
No.
We'll review that movie at some point for sure. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
You could at least tell me the movie name.
Inglorious Bastards.
You can't say that word.
I've seen that movie like 3 times. I didn't know that.
It's when they go to the ball and Brad Pitt and the 2 other characters are acting like they're Italian. And his name is the third guy's name is, and the guy's like, "What's your name?" He's like, Antonio Margaretti. You need more context for it to be funny, but
That's fair.
it's hilarious.
No context.
No context.
Fuck that guy on TikTok. Fucking asshole. Watch the movie or the episode.
Bro, you better hope he's not one of our
Or
29
the TikTok right
subscribers.
before it.
I
He'll
love you
lose
if you
one
are.
subscriber.
About to have 28 after this.
Womp womp.
Wah, wah, wah.
Like, subscribe, comment.
But yeah, any other gangster names that y'all liked?
No.
They all
Stuck.
sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
They weren't the best, actually.
yeah, it was
A
just
lot of them.
2 times.
Oh,
That's all I got.
There's one that was racist.
There's one that was
2
racist.
times.
But
Yeah.
that's owning it. But we're not allowed to say it because we're not Italian.
Ba ba ba. All right. Yeah. I mean, let's go into my next discussion question, which is the theme of our episode today. Mm-hmm. Is GoodFellas a Christmas movie?
I think
yes or no, and why or why not?
I think in a way it is, if that counts as an answer. In a way, GoodFellas is a Christmas movie the same way the Harry Potter movies are Christmas movies, the same way Die Hard is a Christmas movie. There is a part of the movie or a chunk of the movie, I guess Die Hard, the entire movie is Christmas, but there's parts of the movie that take place over Christmas, and that's like a noticeable part of the movie where you could call it a Christmas movie.
Right.
Like it...
Mr. Research over here.
If it makes sense, like Harry Potter, I watch every year, all of the movies, but I only watch them. Read them all in second grade, buddy. Actually, thank you very much. All of them,
twice.
All of them I watched starting in December because I counted as Christmas movies because they celebrate Christmas in every one of those movies. Even though like later on in the movies they start getting like sadder and sadder Christmas, and they're just like, here's your gift. Everything's fucking depressing. The world's going to hell, but here's your gift. But it still counts as Christmas. So like GoodFellas, that was a solid like 30 minutes of Christmas. I'd count that as Christmas movie.
I would disagree.
How come?
I think just because Christmas is in the movie doesn't mean that it's Christmas. You got Easter probably happening in some of these movies. That doesn't mean it's an Easter movie. You got the Super Bowl happening in some of these movies. That don't mean the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl movie.
I ain't never
That's
seen
That's a bad example.
I ain't never seen a movie where the Super Bowl is happening.
That's a bad example. But just because something's happening during the time doesn't mean it's that type of movie, especially when it's about gangsters.
Yeah, I understand, but I am with Mike. Like, I think like the setting doesn't have to be Christmas for it to be a Christmas movie.
I don't know.
I think it's a very subjective
Home Alone
opinion.
is very obviously
it's like
Christmas
because
movie.
it's centered around Christmas.
That's what makes it a Christmas movie. This isn't centered around Christmas.
But my opinion is it doesn't have to be
argument.
centered around Christmas to be a Christmas movie. I think the feel of the movie is a Christmas movie. It's a lot of it's at night, a lot of it in the wintertime. It feels like wintertime. The color scheme is a lot of red and Christmas colors. And then there's Christmas scenes that take place during Christmas, and like Mike said, like the feel of the movie just feels like it could be watched around a winter Christmas time opposed to like in the summertime.
I'd rather watch it in the spring.
It could be. I'm gonna add to what I was saying earlier. If it counts, there's like it's like a subsection of Christmas movie because like you got your Home Alone and your Christmas Story.
Now we pulling out subsections.
Yep. You've got your Home Alone.
Pulling out fucking subsections.
You got your Home Alone. You got your Christmas Story, Polar Express, like the movies like that. Like those are
Paulie.
Christmas movies. And then you got like the Harry Potter, Die Hard, Goodfellas, where it's like subsection of Christmas movies.
Nightmare
and then,
on Elm Street.
And then just shit that doesn't have anything to do with Christmas at all that you wouldn't even count a Christmas movie. So it's like Christmas, kind of Christmas. I'm gonna call it a kind of Christmas movie. Christmas, kind of Christmas, and then not at all.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think
Cop out. You can't say it is or kind of
How's that
is.
a cop out? It's a subsection of Christmas.
Is. We're pulling out subsections now. It either is or it isn't.
The
I
That
subsection
just
of
proves my
Christmas.
point further. I'm always right, never wrong.
I think there are movies that are centered around Christmas, and I think there are, movies that are Christmas movies that aren't centered around Christmas. But I do think there are movies that people generally watch during Christmas time, which is a Christmas movie, and I do believe this is one of them.
Disagree.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next year during Christmas time, the selection lands on you, so you can pick.
Yeah, hopefully
bullshit.
we could pick an actual Christmas movie.
What would you pick?
Definitely not Elf. I'll tell you that much.
That sucks.
Anybody got any fun facts for us?
I got a couple.
Love me a fun fact.
I got several.
A fun fact head. I love fun facts.
So they say a word roughly 300 times throughout the movie. You want to guess the word?
Wally.
No, it's actually fuck. It's actually fuck. They said fuck roughly 300 times throughout the movie, and apparently that's one of Scorsese's cleaner films.
Apparently at the time when it was made, it was the most fucks ever used in a movie. But I think it's been beaten by like 12 or 13 movies, and one of them is Wolf of Wall Street.
Makes sense.
One of them might be another one of Scorsese's movies. I don't know.
Makes sense.
Maybe Casino.
Guy just like cursing.
Hey, you fucking loves
And
it.
apparently
Lives for
half of the fucks were said by Joe Pesci alone.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Big curse head.
Fuck, I guess I talked about most of my fun facts throughout the entire episode. The only one I haven't talked about so far, the mob watched it, like the actual Italian mob, and they said they liked it a lot, and they feel like it's a home movie. Like they said it was so fucking accurate, it just feels like a home movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
I actually think I was not a fan.
I lost it.
Yeah, the real Henry Hill obviously like was a big part of the movie.
I saw he took a picture with Ray Liotta.
Yeah. He said like Joe Pesci's portrayal of that person was like 99% accurate.
It's crazy.
But apparently the 1% was that character was like not small. Like he was like ripped as fucking huge. Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of others. Like I saw De Niro was so particular about wanting to know like how the character of Jimmy was. He apparently would call the real Henry Hill like 8 times a day to like ask him questions.
Which wasn't he supposed to be in witness protection program? So at what point did he just come out of it? Because now his kids are walking around saying, "Oh yeah, that was my dad who snitched on everybody." And
they came out of it in 2004. I
Why?
saw it. They were in it from 1990 to 2004. I didn't see why.
No. 1990 was when the movie was made.
19,
not
it would have to be
1990?
like 50 or 60.
I think he got out of witness protection like early.
Oh, I might be just dead.
So he
wrong
got in
then.
it was 1980 when he was in witness protection.
80,
That late, really?
87.
Okay, so I think he only did like a year or two in witness protection.
What?
I don't know. Remember that video I was talking about earlier where it was interviewing the kids?
That's crazy.
That spanned throughout a couple years, and they had to keep moving places because they like Henry would
I'll
fuck
look it
something
real
up.
quick.
Well, I think he was still in witness protection when the movie was being made, maybe. But then, like after the movie came out, like he became so popular that they just let him out, and they didn't like. I don't know. I don't really remember. I read something about it, but I don't really
Well, how
remember.
come they didn't try to whack him?
Well,
I think
because
most
at
of them are
that
in
point,
jail or dead.
From 1980 to 1980 to 1987.
okay, so 7 years. That's a long
That's
time.
7 years.
I think
For
a
a
lot
witness
of them.
protection program, you're supposed to be in it your whole life.
Yeah, but like made this one of the most famous movies ever about him. So like they thought like I don't know, and I think most of the people that wanted him dead ended up dying or like went to jail. So like I don't remember the exact story.
He got in trouble at one point during witness protection. I saw.
Oh, he got kicked out.
Yeah, they were giving him like a weekly, maybe not a weekly stipend, but they were giving him money. It was like $1,200 or something like that every week, or it had to have been every week, not every month. That would have been disgusting work.
Yeah.
But he ended up making like a Sports Illustrated article about like point shaving in college or something like that, some like basketball game, and he made $10,000 off of it. And the witness protection people found out about it and got on his ass about it and started like fucking yelling at him, and he got in trouble.
Well, so more detailed. So in the movie, after they did the Lufthansa heist, like the big heist, there's a point shaving scandal with Boston College, and it's like this famous scandal. There's like a 30 for 30 on it, and the gangsters that like gave the Boston College players money, one of the main ones was Jimmy, and they didn't mention. They mentioned it like one time in the movie. I think there was one quote that Maury said after the heist. He was like, "You hear about those points we're shaving up in Boston?" And that was the only thing he said. But it was like a real thing. And Jimmy would put a bunch of money on it and lose. And one crazy twist to the story that's actually real was, first thing, the guy that in the movie that was the attorney for the witness protection program, like they were having that conversation with him. That was the real attorney in real life that did the same thing. So he was playing himself in the movie. And another thing, I don't know if this is true, but that guy was on the Boston College basketball team when they did the point shaving scandal. So like in real life, when they were talking to each other, they had to like restrain the guy from like trying to fucking hurt Henry Hill when he found out about it. Cause he was like, this fucking guy, like Henry Hill told him about the point shaving scandal. Like, yeah, we did that. And then he got dumb mad because like that ruined my whole basketball career. Because that shit happened, and then they they couldn't play, or I don't know what the result of that was, but
that's kind of crazy. He was playing himself because I thought he was a really good actor.
No, apparently he was playing himself. Yeah.
Well, when you're casted for the role of yourself, who else is better to play than yourself?
Literally.
And he didn't really have that many lines.
Another crazy thing about that scene.
And he was actually upset at that guy, so it made sense when he was like, "We got 2 options for you. I don't even really want to do this for you." Is like essentially what he was saying.
Yeah. That scene, the guy said was super accurate. He said there was one detail that wasn't accurate about that scene. He said while Henry and Karen went to that meeting to meet with him about witness protection, he said in real life, the real Henry Hill had 2 of his fucking gumars sitting outside, like 2 of his fucking side hoes outside because he wanted to bring them to witness protection as well.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
You know what's
Man,
crazy?
He loved that
I
Cuddy
think it's
boy.
crazy about that.
Henry
He was
Hill.
just like DiCaprio in Inception, saving the cat for real.
You know, I think it's kind of nuts about that. Have you seen a picture of a younger Henry Hill?
Yeah.
He was not a good looking man.
No.
Not
Well, that
not
money,
even a
though.
little bit.
Nah, Ray Liotta was a good looking man. too.
Yeah, they did him justice in that movie
Yeah.
because that is a handsome man. Fucking
It's hard to cast ugly motherfuckers in roles. I like all
Well,
of Hollywood's
especially a
attractive.
main role, especially when he's a ladies' man
Yeah,
in the movie. If you just have some ugly schmuck.
for sure.
he was an ugly schmuck.
Ugly schmuck. Hey, Paulie, you know what I told him? Hey, Paulie. He's a fucking ugly schmuck. You better off go fuck your mother.
Dude, you sound just like him, bro. It's remarkable,
You're being sarcastic.
insanely.
Asshole. That's what he sounds like.
But yeah, I mean, back to the music too. Like, I thought the music was so good.
Fuck you,
And I
man.
think it was so good. Scorsese wrote out every single song for every single scene like 3 years before it.
He wrote it out.
Like he
Made the
wrote
songs?
in the script. He wrote, "I want this song in this place," and
And
this
then
is
he made
how I
the song?
want.
Some of those songs,
Yes.
I want to know how much money he had to spend to get some of those songs. Because
I mean, he was literally like one of the most popular filmmakers in the
Fair.
world at that point. Like, so I don't know, probably not much. I did see one thing that said he wanted the last song to be "My Way" by Frank Sinatra, and Sinatra would not let him use the song.
yeah, they fucking dubbed it weird.
Yeah, I know, which sucks.
Yeah.
But
That's life.
different song,
I know.
Very different song.
same album though.
I didn't know that. Real Frank Sinatra heads know.
You know what the album's called?
Your mother.
Yeah, it is what it's called. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
I'm a fucking genius.
So there were multiple other people suggested for playing Henry Hill. There's Tom Cruise.
Would have been bad.
Would have been terrible.
Yeah. The next one, Nicolas Cage.
I wonder where he would have got the scream in.
God, that movie would've been terrible.
can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
You think when they're cutting bro up into fucking
Yeah.
when they're cutting him up, digging him up and everything, you think that's when Nick Cage would have
Yes.
started screaming like
That's what I
that.
was immediately.
Yeah.
Would have been terrible.
That
God, I hate that fucking guy, man.
He's so bad.
trying
I
to
do
think
not
of-
like him as
trying to
an
think of
actor.
anything I liked him in, and I can't.
Hey, man, it's pretty good. What was that one
He was a good.
superhero movie?
He was a good Spider Noir in Spider Verse. That was good.
When they didn't have to show his real face.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Just him. I think he had like 15 lines throughout the whole movie.
yeah.
What
whatever.
superhero movie are you talking about?
That stupid.
Oh,
one.
fucking Kick Ass.
He was pretty good at Kick-Ass.
He's good at Kick Ass until he was being burned alive, and he pulled out that stupid ass screamy ass.
Really
How would
watched
you
that
scream
movie.
if you were being burnt alive?
What
Ow.
was that newer movie with him?
The fucking long legs.
That movie. That first half was so good. Or that first part was so good.
I hated when he was in the car. He's like, "Mommy, Daddy, shut the fuck up, dude."
I mean, you're just like, he's supposed to be this super scary person. And I'm like, bro, I'm looking at Nick Cage. I'm not scared of him.
There's nothing
Well, they should
scary
have
about
just
Nick
kept
Cage.
it like they should have made it more of a supernatural thing instead of like a devil worshipping thing.
Instead of like a Nick Cage
A
fucking
Nick
tool
Cage
bag
being a-
thing. A couple of other guys that were considered for the role of Henry Hill. We got Alec Baldwin. I don't like that one.
That would have been great.
And then John Travolta too.
That would have been okay.
It would have been okay, but I
would've
think
been
Henry Hill, or I meant Ray Liotta, was the best.
I feel like
for
it's
sure.
also hard to imagine somebody else, even if they would have been okay or good in it, because Ray Liotta did such a good job.
I agree.
It's hard to imagine anybody that does a good job at a certain character. It's hard to imagine somebody else, even if they would have also been good.
Yeah. Which there was one person that was also requested to do the role for Jimmy Conway, who was De Niro's character. It was Al Pacino, which, was pretty much like...
They could have gone either way with that.
I mean,
fine.
De Niro and Pacino were like the
Yeah.
two guys back then. Pacino declined the role because he was afraid of it being a typecasted role.
It's fair.
And then I guess he ended up doing some movie that year, the next year, that was like the same exact role.
Because he realized he missed out.
He said it was like one of his like biggest regrets of his life.
Nice.
That he declined Goodfellas.
But De Niro did a good job, so it's
Yeah, he went crazy.
my opinion. Did
Nah,
the best.
De Niro went crazy. Like Pacino probably would have been really fucking good at that role too, but
Again, it's hard to imagine somebody else in a role
Nah,
where somebody killed it.
it was like perfect casting. I think that
I think the casting for every character was pretty good.
yeah, I do too.
You have any gripes in any of the castings?
No. No, even down to like the little characters, like fucking Lois for some reason. Whoever played Lois, she stood out to me too.
Which one was Lois?
The girl who was supposed to during that whole gun run scene, she was supposed to make the call outside of the house, and she made the call inside of the house.
She was the runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, like she even stood out, and she was good. Like it was just everyone who was cast just fucking
she was great.
did their thing.
Yeah, I do think the casting was pretty elite.
You got any more fun facts?
Not really. I think like I definitely sprinkled them in throughout the movie. Yeah, I mean both of Scorsese's parents were in the movie. I think we talked about that. Talked about the Boston College thing. Yeah, I mean I talked about most of them. Henry Hill was paid $550,000 for the movie, like the real Henry Hill.
Oh wow.
He was quoted saying that was chump change compared to what he was getting in the mob. Apparently, he was getting like
Not in the mob
like
anymore,
$5,000 to
asshole.
$15,000 a fucking week. So like, getting
Seems like he had an ego, especially after they made a movie about him.
yeah, I think he was just a fucked up dude for the rest of his life. It seemed like
That's what doing a bunch of coke does to you.
He
doing
did do a lot of coke.
Highs and
witnessing a
lows.
bunch of murders and
That's nothing.
yeah, I probably could handle
He
that.
did? No, he's
Dude, he should get smacked. Oh,
Yeah.
flag.
But
Justin Herbert's typecasted too.
overall, I thought it was a really good movie. $5 again. You know, I would definitely rewatch it next year for Christmas.
I can't wait till we watch it.
Hey.
Just kidding. It's not a Christmas movie.
Oh,
I can't wait till we watch a terrible movie. Because like I feel like every movie we've watched,
Next week,
we've all
Skinamarink.
given it 4 or 5 stars. I can't wait till we have one where it's just a consensus like half a star.
maybe one of us should just purposely request.
Skinamarink is next.
I'm not watching that movie.
Nah, but I mean, once we start doing episodes too of
Oh yeah, once we get
reactions
deeper
from
into it.
shit in the theaters,
Yeah. Oh,
I think that'll help
yeah.
because it's less likely we're gonna watch a Goodfellas
I
or a
wish-
La La Land or something like that
I
in theaters.
We've
wish-
watched a lot of stinkers.
I
in
wish we
For
were
sure.
doing. I wish we were doing this shit when we watched Skinamarink.
No, I would.
And you missed the best part too.
I literally got up. I got up to go pee. I sat down. I went, Corey, I missed anything? He goes,
Yeah.
yeah, actually you did. You did.
was a bunch of
The one thing in the movie, yeah, you did miss it.
That's so funny. Oh, that's easy.
Two titties, guys.
But yeah, I mean,
Sick.
I guess
So,
to wrap it up, like, and this or The Dark Knight is my favorite movie ever for sure. I do think this is like the best made movie. I think this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Just from top to bottom, I think it's just flawless. And yeah,
Mine's personally Cars too.
yeah.
Cars.
But
That was another one I was gonna say.
yeah, it was up there, top 3.
Yeah,
It's not
probably.
3. Nah. It's your 2 or 1.
Yeah, probably not
But,
two either.
Who's to say, really?
Bro, before we end this, dog, the amount of
That's how I feel
farts.
about Cars too.
Before we end this, the amount of farts I've heard tonight is fucking unbelievable.
I hope that picked it up.
Bro, who's that hazelnut chocolate thing, bro?
The what? The hazelnut chocolate thing? That's what made you fart like that?
That would be okay.
You sound like how I talk about fucking Coke Zeros.
But you got time. You let it sit on your tongue. Okay.
My farts are usually silent too. That thing was
I
thunderous.
ripped. Vibrated the couch.
Sorry, folks.
I'm not.
Yeah, I hope you heard it. But next week we'll be watching Shutter Island.
Ooh,
Another
back to back Scorsese.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this movie. Actually, I have a good feeling it's gonna be really good, and I'm gonna love it. It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
It is Mark
We've
Ruffalo.
The man.
done a lot of Leo,
Leo's the man.
but yeah. So excited. I haven't seen it before, so tune in next week to find out.
That would be sick. Yeah. Links to our socials are in the bio.
Like, subscribe, share. We really need subscribers. So,
Yeah,
subscribe.
definitely
if you want.
subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. If you're following our stuff, we got TikTok, Instagram, We're on the YouTube Shorts.
Fucking view the video if you haven't yet.
Yeah, just view the video.
Just click on it. It would be cool.
Figure out all our
Some of
shit.
these ain't even getting the views,
Figure
but
out
you
all
know,
that
like,
shit.
subscribe, share.
And we promise no
Comment.
more reels of elephant doo doo or
Yeah.
you know.
I thought it was funny.
Those kind of flop, guys. What's going on?
I thought it was
You don't
funny.
like elephant poop?
Regardless.
But tune in next week.
Shutter Island. Bye bye.
Yeah. Look, got a couple goons in the back, and they all got a little heat sensitive smoke. They don't even gotta move from the back. You don't gotta look for the gang. If you see me, always been the cool where I'm at. Okay. Shawty said she tryna take a Nate, don't break when it's dropped. She about to relapse. I'm in the field.